this is that we're storytellers. Right? Like, that's why I view anything under, I say, when legally, like, this is how the government knows. Legally, anything that comes out of my mouth is a story.
It's satire.
It's satire. It's allegory. It's too deep for them to understand. It's never what it is on face value. Wink, wink, wink. Never once, right?
I can't wait for George Santos to use that as his excuse for lying about how he became a member of the House of Representatives.
I want someone to hit him in the face with a boat oar. I think that man needs. There's very few people that really
getting hit with the
he needs to be
oar
rolled around on the ground by a bunch of like big adults, and they need to like do what happened to me when I was in that day camp where they all stripped my clothes off of me and laughed at my penis. I feel like that could help. That could help. Some guys need that. I honestly think that in a way, like now it's like it was like trauma, like what happened to me,
yeah,
but also at the same time, I think it also made me stronger in a way.
Yeah.
Now this is a story of a woman that this didn't happen to, but this is another storyteller. So maybe this files under stories that she has told that some people got mad about, but this is how she's telling her story. Now the writer is Susan Meechan. Now she quote unquote died by suicide in September of 2020.
Right.
But it turns out not
December of 2020.
Oh, yes. Now,
so this is a bit, she's been holding on to this con for a while.
Oh, yeah. So she went and she basically said, out of nowhere, this was like a couple of weeks ago, a message on her Facebook fan group came out that said, I debated on how to do this a million times, and I'm still just not sure if it's right or not. She wrote on Facebook. There's going to be tons of questions and a lot of people leaving the group, I'd guess. But my family did what they thought was best for me, and I can't fault them for that. Let the fun begin, she said at the end, because she is a shitster and a mean person. So
when we say author, like, is she self-published?
She is
Did anyone read these books?
She had a fan base, right? There was enough of it. So she said, according to the way the story rolls out, is that on September 2020,
the only picture they found to put on top of this story was her slightly being strangled by a snake.
Yep, I believe that is her Facebook picture. It is not flattering, to say the least. It is not a flattering picture.
All right. All right.
Now, this story opened September 2020 when her quote unquote daughter posted on a Facebook fan group for her mother's writing called The Ward that Meechan had died by suicide. All right. And they said that, but the main thing is that not only that she died by suicide, that it was because of internet bullying. Right, the internet bullying made her kill herself. Now,
so this is like, I mean, honestly, internet bullying is horrible.
It's truly terrible.
So she took that very serious, horrible thing that happens, and then she was like, "Let me flip this, reverse it, and then I'm going to get everyone to be like, we really miss her so bad." And then what did she think was going to happen?
Because this is the problem too, is that not only does it make the audience feels more quote unquote sympathetic for the person that was bullied and then committed suicide, but the thing is that it's also her friends, fellow authors, then kind of cannibalize each other to be like, who was bullying this person? And so the whole community sort of kind of ripped itself
each other
about who was bullying her. And so everyone, because no one was bullying this woman, but all of these people then began to accuse each other of bullying this woman to death in a public forum, right? And it caused a bunch of problems, right?
Good.
And so
perfect way to handle
Perfect way to handle it. Another author basically came out and said, now, when it came out that one of our own had taken her life, that was destructive enough, and we were grieving for that alone. All right, and then all the finger pointing started, and it drove a huge wedge in the community, and it lasted for months. Now, the thing was that...
Hold on a second. Authors, by nature...
You got to sell the books.
They do not have community. Because authors, introverted, they...
You'd be surprised.
I don't believe that authors cannot... No, much like professional bowlers, you do not have a community. Well, you're a bowler. You're a lone wolf. You got 10 pins to take down every single time with that ball. You don't have a bowling community when playing competitively.
I feel that is a big... I don't think writing is competitive. I think that you're right about bowlers. I don't think it is competitive with writers. I think that there's room for everyone under the tent.
How many books do you read a year? I mean, I
read many books.
Yes, but how many don't you? Because you're reading the current book that you're reading.
What?
Competition.
That's interesting. That's a really interesting concept.
If you're reading a book, you're not reading somebody else's.
Again, he shat on his buddy's couch.
I did not.
Do you remember when he shat on his couch in the night?
Why are you bringing that up? I never did that. I never did it. It was never happening.
Exonerated, but again, why so many accusations of shit? Why? What's the bottom of it?
Let's move on. So
the daughter came on again, as Susan mentioned. So the daughter,
does she have a daughter?
Yeah, I believe she does have a daughter.
Okay,
but she is still performing as her daughter. So she first said this thing about how, like, to celebrate my mother's life, I need you all to buy her new book called Losing Him. Her new book called Love to Last a Lifetime, right?
Okay, how does she have a new book? How would she have a new book?
Because she said that it was not finished before she committed suicide, but then they all completed it.
And so the daughter just went in and said, "That end."
Yes, but it's all fake. The woman just wrote the book, right? And so that's the first thing. And so I was like, oh, we got to buy this book, blah, blah. She then put out this statement. Again, this is from the fake daughter's perspective. Unless something changes in the next 21 days, all of Mom's books will be unpublished. Her paperbacks will be going on sale, then unpublished. The only way that you'll be able to get the books that you will be through audio. Her sales and page reads have been zero for a few months now, and it is a waste of my time to work them every morning after work with zero movement. Hell, we hired a PA to help, and it's not helped any so far. So if you want any of her work, then now is the time to pick them up. Also, this account will be dark, except for audio promoting.
Yeah, maybe she needs to be just kind of writing better books there or something. But anyway, I did just search. This is according to getlegal.com. No, it's not a porn site. Is it illegal to fake your own death? They say there are no state or federal laws that make it a crime to fabricate your own demise, even though technically, speaking of Cena and fraudsters, this would be an act of fraud, would it not?
Yeah, I feel that it falls into the gray area of you're a piece of shit, right? And is it necessarily always illegal to be a piece of shit? I don't know.
Well, this is what they say. If you do try to establish credit under a new identity, that is fraud.
Well, yes, of course. That makes sense. Because again, you're taking what? Money from the government. And they always make sure to punish you if you possibly try to fool the government.
There you go.
But because that's the only thing they care about, right? Is their money. They don't really care about your life or the way you live your life or even the crimes that you do, as long as you're not taking money from them.
I don't think that this woman's going to see an uptick in book sales.
Oh, no.
I think people are probably extremely upset to be manipulated in that way.
Well, because what she said was that now, the excuses is she said that she was put into a mental asylum in September of 2020 and that her family did all of this without her knowledge, which I also...
Who the fuck would ever do that?
I do not believe this. I do not believe that is true. I think that is fake. And that she said now, she's like, I simply want my life back. My family was in a bad place and did what they thought was best for me. And it's just like, I just think that is not true. I don't think that she did that. I don't know whether or not, I'll look this up. If even Susan, because she is a fucking this woman. She's a real pip.
Yeah, she sounds like a bit of a serial liar there, which could also make for a great author. I mean, you can get on Oprah, you can be like that Fry character, 1,000 Million Little Pieces, or whatever the hell that was called. That was all a lie.
And it says here he went to a mental asylum. Again, I don't know whether or not that is true. It's very, very interesting to think that she came out. It sounds like what happened, which happened to a lot of us, is she got extremely overwhelmed during quarantine. And instead of dealing with it
in a way. She's a self-published author.
Oh, yeah. But I think that she, instead of dealing with it in any shape or form, she decided to do this sort of attention-seeking act that allowed her to kind of step away from herself, but then get to hold your own funeral. So you also get to see everybody say all these nice things about, but I'm talking about on the internet. Like, you get to say, you make this post about this person like passing, and then you get to see all of these people say,
they're fighting over me.
I love her. And then it turns into the bullying accusation also then destroys the entire community from the inside out as well.
Right.
And so it's just altogether very destructive, and someone she isn't very well.
No, and again, I'm just not sure if this is going to help the career overall. And don't commit suicide. Don't fake your own suicide. Because at the end of the day, it just seems like people are going to use it for their own motivations anyway.
Well, because the Facebook group that she had set up, it was for a bunch of people that were self-published ebooks and writers and print-on-demand writers for romancing. So she created she had cultivated like a group. She was cultivating it and then decided she didn't want to do that anymore. And then she fake killed herself. And then she had her fake daughter come in there and do a bunch of fake stuff.
How many books about how 9/11 was an inside job can people handle?
I don't know. I mean, hey, you got to be you'd be surprised. The 9/11 romance category is just getting thicker and thicker and thicker.
I believe
Wait
that.
till that January 6th erotica starts coming out because you know it's out there, right? It's like just two guys just being like, I went looking for Q, but all I found was Dave. And then it's like they went out there and they just fucking, that might be nice. That probably one of the nicest things that came out of it is how many guys got their dick sucked accidentally by other weird, lonely dads.